Welcome to Hope for Addiction's inaugural podcast, Abounding Hope. The mission of Hope for Addiction is to equip the local church to be able to confidently and biblically come alongside someone who is struggling with addiction and suffering. And so we thought that our time together would be able to do just that, bring encouragement to you, help you to think biblically about addiction, give you confidence to enter into situations that seem too big, and to be able to tell stories of God's goodness. And so as we get started in our inaugural podcast, I thought there would be no better way to do that than to tell you about the origins of Hope for Addiction and why Hope for Addiction got started. Our family, the Beck family, we had a lot of struggles in our lives. We had a lot of fun times and normal times, but there were struggles with addiction with my husband, Rob. And our two children struggled through just the chaos of living that life. And as things were just falling apart, our church stepped up in amazing ways to care for us and serve us and just love us. It's something that we hadn't experienced before, even in other churches. And so as my life was falling apart, as I was going through a divorce, just trying to figure out what life would look like, the Lord just started stirring in me the question, what would it look like for the local church to come alongside addicts the way that my church had cared for us? And so Hope for Addiction was born out of that. And if you want more details about the story, there is a video. We'll put it in a link in the notes. So you can go and take a look and see the full story of how Hope for Addiction got started. So the people that walked the closest with me and my family were our small group leaders, Steve and Marian Tong. And so we wanted to just have some time to share with you the journey that we've been on for the past 20 plus years. And so I'll have Steve and Marian just introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their family.
Yeah, so I'm Steve.
And I'm Marian.
We have 4 kids. Josh is our oldest, twin girls, Jess and Beck, and then Ben. And in the early days, we lived right down the road from you. We moved into Queen Creek, and you guys were like right down the road.
Yep.
You had moved in. And we were small group leaders at the time and hosted a small group in our home twice a month. And you guys, I think you, Liz, you inquired about coming. And you and Rob would come, and we'd have these small group meetings, and then things started getting a little interesting with you guys.
Yeah, I remember you guys moving to Queen Creek, and as a small group, we all went over and helped you guys get settled.
Yes.
And we were super excited to have you join us and be a part and get to know your family.
That was an impactful day because we didn't really know the people in the small group yet. We were just moving out there, and every time I turned my head, there was another kid carrying a box up the stairs. It was very impactful to see the small group just serve our family, and that was just the beginning of how you served.
We had no idea.
Exactly. Well, that actually explains how we got connected with you and how we started living life together with you. So when you first started walking with our family and started to see some of the difficulties and the messiness of the things that we were walking through and started to enter into the chaos of our lives, what were some of your thoughts initially about just being a part of that mess?
Yeah. I don't know that we really knew what was coming. We didn't. The Lord did. But I remember just like, how do we deal with Rob? How do we deal with the addiction? And one of the things that I thought was important as a leader was having another leader to go to. And so Trey was my sphere pastor leader, and there were lots of calls to Trey. We need wisdom. What do we do? And one of the things I would say would be really important as you enter into a situation like this, especially for like a small group leader or a church member, is to have a pastor, somebody you can talk to, who can help you. Trey didn't always know the answers either, but he had more wisdom than I did. He had been in ministry for a while. And so he was there to be able to ask questions. I didn't feel like I was alone in it. Like Mary and I would talk through stuff, but the things that we didn't know, like we needed somebody to help us. And so we had that in Trey. And that I think is really important as a leader walking through this. When you have these things that happen that you just don't know what to do, you have somebody to go to. So that's super, super important, I think.
I would say, like Steve, we didn't realize what your family was going through when you first joined us. So what we saw was this fun family, had a great sense of humor. You guys would put on parties, Super Bowl parties that were out of this world, and like you loved to cook and you were full of life. That part, like we all loved and, loved your family. It wasn't till as time passed that we started to see what happened when you went home. And so that part, I think, I was grateful that the Lord gave us that part because we already loved you guys. And so it was harder for us to turn around and run away, which we did think about. We're thinking, oh, we're not qualified, or, oh, this is a lot more than what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But the Lord, in his kindness, allowed us to build a little bit relationally, which I think helped us in that way.
Yeah. I think there's as you're stepping into the mess, again, unknown, there's something that the Lord does to knit us relationally, like Marian's talking about. And you end up falling in love with the people. And that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one crying. But yeah, tissues for me. But I think that's a part of the Lord's process in that, so that it doesn't become a box to check or a job or something I have to do. It's something you want to do. And so there's this devotion to it, not duty. And I think as you step in, the relationship just bonds in a way that only the Lord can do. And then you're kind of in it through thick and thin. And so that kept us in it.
Well, seeing you and your family suffer the consequences of choices, that was hard. That was hard to watch. And it wasn't, the first time was surprising. The second time was, oh, it happened again. And the third, the fourth. Then it was just, our heart for your family and for the struggle on everybody's part, because everybody had a effect because of choices. So I think being in that caused us to look to the Lord in a way that we wouldn't have, because we had never gone that road before. Mm-hmm. We hadn't walked.
Right.
We were aware of people, but we weren't aware of what happened when they were at home. Mm-hmm. But this was like we were in your home and we were living with you in some of these really hard situations, and watching your kids react and watching you react and watching your husband react. And I think that pressed us in a greater way to the Lord and to each other, and bonded our families in a very special way that while there's times we wanted to run because we didn't know what to do, and a lot of times we're thinking, I don't even know if we're being helpful at all, because you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. The Lord kept us, and kept you guys, and we took the next step for the next minute or the next 10 minutes until we got through that situation, right?
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that was so impactful for me personally, is I had in the past being a part of churches when things started getting a little crazy, and we were trying to navigate what that would look like. One church asked us to leave. They didn't even want us to come back. And another friend said that it was too hard. My life was too hard. She didn't want to be my friend anymore. And so coming into Center Church, having this kind of guard up, not sure if people would abandon us again. And you never did. And the things that you guys walked through with us, the ugliness that you saw was at a level that no one else had even seen. Like all the other people in our lives were kept at such a distance. Even family was kept at a distance. And yet you, our small group, our pastors, came into our lives at a level that no one else had. And at the time that we were in your small group, things were getting far worse. The addiction was getting more and more chaotic. Instead of it being months in between, it was ongoing every day, not knowing what we would come home to when we went to do errands and things like that. And so I think that was something that impacted me so much, is that even when I would call you or I would call Trey and it was like, I don't know what to do. Let me pray. Let me come over. And well, like Trey, you said, Trey didn't have all the answers all the time either, but he was always there. You guys were always there. And in the ugliest moments, where some of my most humiliating moments, you guys were a part of. And so I'm so thankful for that. I think we walked this together as families as well. So your kids were not exempt from all of this either. So tell me about what that was like, even for your kids. They were a little older. They were teenagers. So they had even more awareness of some of the things going on. So talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead. Marian was talking with the girls.
Yeah, it was funny trying to think back to that time. I think in the beginning, we didn't say much. We just would say, we're heading over to the Becks, we'll be back, or, we didn't give a lot of information. And then as more and more times we were heading over, and then they would join us sometimes to be a part of some of those situations. They became more aware. I think their focus was on your kids and trying to encourage them or distract them for some of those things. And I think a lot of times the times when things would happen would be special days for your family, whether it's a birthday or a holiday or something like that. So that was always especially hard on your kids because it kind of ruined those days or made them dread those days. And I know my kids were very much wanting to make it special for them, even in that.
There's one specific, so my kids were pretty young, 9, 10, 11 during this, when it was really starting to kick off. And we had, I don't remember the details, but Rob was in the emergency room again, and it was Robert's birthday. And so we didn't get to do the plan for his birthday as we had anticipated. And that day also, I think we had some work done on our house. So the kitchen was in disarray, and we sat at the park across the street just talking. You guys were just trying to pick me up off the floor. And your kids were with my kids at the house. And then we walked in the house, and I saw your older kids putting my kitchen back together. And Ben was outside playing with my kids. And then you went and got pizza and a birthday cake and came back to the house. And of all of the wonderful special birthdays that Robert has had, that's the one he talks about as being most memorable, when a day that was so hard, there was this beautiful picture of normalcy and love that was there. And so, like, those are, like, your whole family was a part of making those things special and normal, and trying to keep some sort of normal life in the middle of crisis and chaos and all of the things. So yeah, I remember that one stands out a lot.
I remember that one especially too.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see the way the Lord works to give you creative ideas like that. That was probably all Marian, but she's like that. But this is not, it's not complicated.
Right.
It is not rocket science to try to figure out. How can you give a kid how can you give a 9-year-old a birthday in the midst of that? Well, let's just get some food and cake. That's a birthday to him, right? But the Lord filled in that gap for Robert on that day, and we got to be a part of it, which was really cool. But it's not complicated stuff. This is just consideration, loving people, and just letting the Lord lead you in that. And then out of the darkness of that day, there's beauty. And he's the only one who can do that. And
Those are the simple, practical ways that you serve in the middle of a difficult situation.
Right. I remember picking up the kids or bringing a meal or going with you to many different places.
emergency rooms.
But it wasn't, yeah. I mean, I remember the Lord just meeting. I think I did a lot of listening and praying. I don't know that I had any wonderful, that I couldn't fix anything, right?
Right.
But I could be with you through some really hard times and watch you battle for faith and hope for your husband and for your family, and trust the Lord in that. So I learned a lot from you being a part of that and watching God change you through it. So what I thought was me helping you turned out to be you showing Christ to me.
That's good.
That is good.
I would say too, like flexibility. I remember we were at a party and we got a call, and Rob was headed to the emergency room. And so you just leave. I mean, you got to go, you know. But again, it's not that. It's a sacrifice of love that you're doing, that to be there. And so, okay, time to go. And it wasn't like all the time, but there are times where, oh, we're doing this, and then all of a sudden it changes. It's okay, Lord, this is. Next step is going to the emergency room. So didn't have that on the docket tonight, but we do, and we did. And so it's not the normal life that you might try to control. You know, we all try to do. We have our schedules and stuff. No, it's being flexible. What can we do to help? That kind of attitude, I think. And more time together in an emergency room, you know?
Yeah.
So
how were your kids affected? You know, even, and now all of the kids are adults now,
Right.
but are there standout things for them? I mean, because they got to see some things that, you know, most people in the church try to protect their kids from. So how were they affected?
I would say that they grew in compassion. They got to see that we're all sinners that need a Savior, and have maybe a heart for processing hard things in life, like seeing people walk through hard things. Because you guys, as things got worse, at some points you were staying at our house. So they were definitely all in at that point, right? And knew more and more. But I look at it and think that it was part of what life is, right? The hard, the dark, and getting to be a part of bringing some light and hope. I mean, they love you. I mean, you're our family, right? You were in both of my girls' weddings. I mean,
The old lady bridesmaid.
the old lady bride. Yeah. So I don't know, babe. Like, how could I better say how they processed that? I feel like it was good for them.
I think in the culture of our home, we just tried to do stuff with our kids. And I think this was just another one of those. I mean, obviously to, guard early on from, they didn't see everything. We don't want them to see everything. But
And
we did
didn't
want,
share the details.
no.
Of everything. Yeah.
But as time went on, and you guys are part of our family, okay, this is what you're going to see, and come with us as we do this. And so we would do it as a family, and that's just kind of the culture of our family that the Lord let us in. But to do it together, and it made it really convenient that you had two kids that would connect with our kids.
Yeah.
And they were friends and family, and so I think that's just how the Lord used it was a family thing.
Right. I think, like you said at the beginning, we didn't know.
No.
So I don't know that we shared much, but they were older too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was good, but
Yeah. Well, we did a lot of life together. Remember the first time we did gingerbread houses,
Oh, yeah.
and my children, in their creativity, hung the Sour Patch Kids by the neck on their gingerbread
Noose.
houses.
The first news ever at gingerbread
And
house
I
making.
was mortified, but you graciously laughed and appreciated their creativity. It didn't make us feel bad about the darkness that was being displayed in my children's gingerbread houses. And I'm grateful for that, because I was much more horrified than anybody else that day.
You know what though, and I would say this even now about your kids. They have tender hearts.
They do.
They are kids that love well. They are tender. They're not hard. They weren't then. It was just, they were just being kids, and, our kids are probably thought, well, I never thought about that. I should do that too. Ben was probably doing it with them, but they are, you can see the Lord's protection of their lives. They could have turned out a lot different.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
And that was him. And they're still just interacting with your kids now, just soft hearts, loving kids. And they made it easy to love them. They were not hard kids to deal with. They were just in a hard situation.
Yeah.
But there was just a softness to them that we really appreciate. Yeah. And they fit in well with us, So.
Well, I think you guys have a lot to do with that in them as well. But that's probably a good place for us to take a break. And then we'll jump back in with part 2 and talk a little bit more about what it looked like to walk alongside us. And here we are 20 plus years later.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, and we will pick up with part 2 in the next episode. And if you would like to have a few questions answered, you can email us at aboundinghope at hopeforaddiction.com. And we, as we unfold this podcast, we will be answering questions. We'll be talking through various topics, and just being able to give you good answers so that you can confidently walk alongside people. So thank you for being with us, and we will see you on the next episode.